Hello, it's me again, Nicklas, the Swedish Viking. My first impression of the Australian Outback was that it was a really hostile place that really didn't like strangers, and especially not Swedish people coming there to visit the place.
My first impression of the Australian Outback was that it looked very uncomfortable. It looked really beautiful, but it did not look comfortable at all. There was no greenery, no lushness. I could just tell that the minute I stepped foot on the ground that I was going to be in pain. And that's exactly what happened.
One of my big motivation factors of going out in the wilderness for 21 days without clothes was to prove to all the people when I was young who doubted me when I wasn't able to perform anything in the gym class, for example. I was a really shy kid. So I really think that I got my revenge out there in the Australian Outback. I proved to myself and also to anyone that doubted me during my childhood that it's possible to change, to develop your personality, to get stronger and to get more self-confidence so that you can do anything you want.
The first about 3 days were horrible. It rained every day. It was freezing cold. I think the first night I started crying a little bit because it was so painful, because it was just so freezing. It was awful. And then the next night I sucked it up. I didn't cry at all, and Nicklas started breaking down and crying. I even said to him, I said, Nicklas, hold on to me. Everything will be okay. And then the next morning he was so embarrassed about having broken down and cried. I kept trying to reassure him that, it's okay to show emotion, that I was proud of him. But he didn't want anything to do with that. And on day 3 is when he wanted to tap out. And I talked Nicklas out of tapping out. So I'm proud of myself for talking Nicklas out of tapping out, because if it hadn't been for me, he would have been gone day 3 and for getting through that horrible rain.
The worst part of arguing with Laura was that I had a feeling of failure. Because one of my big goals of going out Naked and Afraid was to be there like a team, and I wanted to do anything I could to be able to succeed as a 2-person team and not a 1-person team. And I really tried to be humble and let her have it her way and let her tell me her feelings and stuff like that for 1 week, but after that it was impossible. I'm not more than human. It was more than I could take.
I didn't come to Australia to argue with my partner. My family is very small and I don't have a lot of friends, so my main goal was to go there and make a lifelong friend and possibly a potential brother. That obviously did not happen, but you know what? Arguing is going to happen when on day 1 your partner tells you, you make fire your way, I make fire my way, be quiet, I have to concentrate. And he also told me that he does not like women speaking too much.
I did my best just being a partner with her for 1 week. That was really a tough challenge. Everything else was also tough out there in the Outback. Everything from the weather to the situation with not so much food. Being away from home, and then one extra challenge was Laura. I really couldn't stand her complaints and talking so very much.
Is there anything that could have been done to salvage the partnership? Hell no! So yeah, if I'd have just agreed with everything he had to say, everything would have been hunky-dory and peachy keen. And in fact, at one point, he told me that I needed to get his permission to even give him any form of feedback. And if he did not give permission, then I was basically just to be quiet. So yeah, I guess I should have just shut up, not had any opinions, and just let him do whatever he wanted to do with a smile on my face and not have any opinions.
My first feeling about Laura leaving was a sense of relief. I was there by myself. I didn't have to argue with her. The conflict was over and I didn't have to compromise. I just could do everything myself. All my job, all my work was just for me. So the first feeling was relief, and the second feeling was loneliness. And actually I felt that I had failed. But then I got into the challenge and got used to the new routines, got used to being alone. The first night was I was a little bit scared about the first night, just lying there out in the nothing. And during day, the camera team was around me. I didn't talk to them, but still they were there. But during night there is no one else there, so the night was quite scary.
The moment that I'm most proud of from my journey is when I was able to make my first shoe. Up until that point, I was having a very difficult time walking. I had probably 20 thorns in each foot, and I was in extreme amount of pain, so I really needed to make those shoes. Because the one thing I wanted to do before I left that place was to be able to climb to the top of the embankment over the river and see what was up there, to see the rest of Australia. So the moment I was able to make that shoe and climb that hill and see the rest of Australia was my most proud moment.
My biggest fear and nightmare is that if I would do Naked and Afraid again, I'm coming there in the wilderness and walking through the wild and the forest, and I wonder who is my partner now. I hope it will be someone that I maybe can adapt better to than the last time. And then around the corner I see Laura again. No. So if I would do Naked and Afraid again, I really hope that it will be with a partner that can fit my personality better.